Many are the aspects of Khaine, and each of the Eldar is represented in one way or another. The Dark Reapers. During the war against Igir, Khaine battled against a star god named Khalis Ra, the destroyer of light, the Nightbringer, an incarnation of death itself. Khaine triumphed against Khalis Ra, but as the star god tore itself free to seek a new form, shards of its sundered body exploded outwards and pierced Khaine's flesh. He was cursed with the aspect of the destroyer, embodying every sentient creature's fear of their own mortality. The Dark Reapers invoke this aspect on the battlefield by executing their enemies in fusillade of long-range missile fire. Dire Avengers. The Ulkari teach that in his noblest aspect, Khaine was the right hand of Asuryan. When the Phoenix King passed judgment, Khaine would enforce it, delivering justice or vengeance upon wrongdoers. Dire Avengers emulate Khaine as his most honorable, sheltering the innocent and punishing the guilty. Fire Dragons. Ulkari legends tell of hubristic Eldari who sought vengeance against Khaine, riding to fight him on armored steeds. Against these prideful knights, Khaine transformed them into a monstrous scaled snakes, the aspect of the dragon, and breathed a torrent of fire that delinquished mortal protections. The fire dragons emulate this elemental devastation, intensifying the heat of their fusion weapons until their target is consumed in a raging inferno. It was the Phoenix King Lord Fugen who founded the fire dragons, and legends of his deeds are ritually retold in the aspect shrine of Ulkari, a depiction of him holding the cosmic serpent of wisdom and entropy in his fiery grasp survived the craftworld's collusion with Trollius, and the bitter cold seems almost bearable when standing beneath it. Howling Banshees. The Banshees of mythology were wretched offsprings of Khaine and the crowned goddess Morai Heg, miserable creatures whose wailing cries could steal souls and freeze the blood of mortals. The bloody-handed god acquired this aspect after serving Morai Heg's hand at her request, so she could study the wisdom found in divine blood. As aspect warriors, Howling Banshees invoke not just the fury of Khaine, but the maddening cunning of Morai Heg. They move like lightning and terrifying their enemies with deafening auditory assaults. The emotions of Ulkari's Howling Banshees run hot and cold. It is said that Khaine only acquiesced to Morai Heg's request after being tormented by his children's screaming, and this penchant for coerciveness and inventive cruelties inherited by his aspect warriors. On the other hand, many Howling Banshees demonstrate strong instincts to protect those they consider kin. The patron Phoenix Lord of the Howling Banshees, Jane Zar, is more personally involved in the lives of her disciples than any other, sacrificing herself many times in their defense. Striking Scorpions. The first striking Scorpion Phoenix Lord was Ahra, the father of scorpions. But after breaking from his peers after the defeat at the hands of Karandras, he fell from grace and was said to be pierced with the dark light of chaos. Karandras succeeded him and bid the striking scorpions to temper their savage fury with the patience of the hunter. It seems unlikely such instincts were drawn from Khaine, given the god of murder's long-standing vendetta with the hunter god Kuronos. But Karandras thought that such skills are essential counterpoint to the war god's bloodthirsty nature. Each striking scorpion finds their own balance between the teachings of their founding fathers, cultivating strength without losing themselves to the path of damnation. Swooping Hawk. The ancient Eldari believed that a killer who got away with murder would be hunted by the victim's spirit, in the form of a circling hawk. One of the aspects of Khaine and a symbol of retribution and judgment. The swooping hawk aspect warriors truly embody their mythological counterparts in persistence, soaring the skies with impossible grace and descending on enemies below. They harry the flanks of the enemy with continuous last blaster salvos and bombard enemy positions with a long range of explosives, inspiring fellow Eldari with their lethal majesty. Swooping hawks are a lesser somber presence than the other aspect warriors. Warp Spiders. The Ulkari claim that when Asuryan raised a barrier between the realms of gods and mortals, some Eldari managed to trespass in heaven. Though enraged by this impossible transgression, Khaine bided his time. In the aspect of the spider, he laid traps for the intruders, ensnaring and slaying all but one. Warp spiders reflect this cunning and take their name from the tiny crystalline arachnoids that slip in and out of existence, hunting threats and protecting the wraithbone skeletons of the craft world. And as a little bonus note, we have the Shadow Spectres. In this aspect of Eldar warfare that the Shadow Spectres exemplify, Khaine demands that even the end of mortal existence cannot be escaped from war.